The reason why I joined FOPSTalk, the Filipino Online Professional Services Cooperative, is because I believe that this is a cooperative that all Filipino online professionals own, control, and manage.
The reason kaya po ako sumali sa FOPSTalk, kailangan natin ng isang sistema at isang samahan na makakatulong sa bawat isa.
This cooperative is a group na pwede silang sumama para mas magabayan sila sa kanilang freelancing journey.
Ako sumali dihan sa FOPSTalk kasi para makabuligak sa ato kapwa mga freelancers, and ito talaga ang passion and my mission.
I joined FOPSTalk kasi for me, lahat ng ginagawa ko sa FOPSTalk is a privilege ko siya tinitignan eh. Kasi once in a lifetime in history na bigyan ka ng chance na mag-contribute.
Stepping stone na rin to para maabot yung goal ko.
The vision of the organization aligns with my personal vision, which is to develop and nurture an organization within Zamboanga City that provides much needed support for our online workers.
I joined FOPSTalk because the people I've met have the same values, vision, and mission as mine, and that is to provide assistance to those who would like to jumpstart their career as a freelancer.
One of the reasons why I joined FOPSTalk is because as a freelancer, I think it's important for us to have access to training, whether free or paid.
Wanted our individual reputations to have a collective reputation for excellence.
I wanted to be part of an organization that would be a pioneer group of individuals who will be working to promote online freelancing here in the Philippines.
The reason why I joined this organization is that I saw their mission and vision towards helping all Filipino freelancers.
I choose FOPSTalk because we learn and grow as a community to help also others.
Feel more safe and secure knowing that my knowledge and skills will only come from the most renowned and experienced online freelancers and racketeras here in the Philippines.
I joined FOPSTalk because I saw the potential growth is not just reaching one's goals and being successful, but there is camaraderie.
I am very inspired with their achievements and advocacy in promoting and helping Filipino freelancers.
Want to learn FOPSTalk of two things. Number one, I want to help freelancers to get a job. And number two, I want to learn more from you.
I hope that here we will all grow together.
We grow together.
All right. Happy Wednesday evening, everyone. How are you? It's raining out here today. Kumusta kayo, Rosh and Dennis?
Busy. Every day busy.
I would
Hindi
agree
na
with that.
humihinga.
Super busy.
Yes,
Hindi na
that's right.
humihinga. Breathless.
Yes, correct. And the second cup of my coffee, second dose for today. And if I have my second dose, that means I am really, really busy.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm really excited today. But first of all, let me greet our audience first. Hello, everyone. Good evening. We're back on FOPSTalk. Welcome to FOPSTalk, friends and online professionals. This show is for you. FOPSTalk is brought to you by FOPSCO, the national-based cooperative for and by online professionals. Please like our page, facebook.com/popsco.ph, and you may also find us on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, or visit our website, popsco.ph. And we're also here with our technical team, Popsco Media. Thank you so much, CJ, for staying in the background, and Dennis, who will be co-hosting our show today. Miss Shirlene is not available at the moment, so I'm very excited to have this episode today because our guest is somebody special. He's actually my only my second long-term client, and he is a digital nomad. He's an expat currently living in Vietnam, and he's living the high life of the digital nomad lifestyle. So, without further ado, let me introduce Edwin Marino. Hi, Edwin.
Hi,
Hello,
Edwin.
hello.
Welcome to FOPSTalk.
Welcome to
I
FOPSTalk,
am.
Edwin.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm flattered by the introduction. I'm just a normal person, and I'm excited to share hopefully some useful information and just a little bit about my life, I suppose. Yeah. But thank you. I'm good to be here. Good to be here.
I'm just curious, Edwin, where are you right now? Because by the looks of the background, it looks like you and Dennis are in the same place. The color of the
Actually,
wall
hey,
matches.
Yeah, shoes.
yeah, I just am at my office. I have like a small office now. Actually, Jehan knows I have a small office now here in Da Nang City, Vietnam, where I'm based out of. So yeah, it's just there's no decorations yet. I apologize. It should be a little more colorful, but it's just solid white. Yeah.
It's okay.
The office
Yeah.
is really new, right? When did you move in?
It was towards the end of last year, around November. So yeah, before that, I was just online on my computer, either working at home or from coffee shops. And then I decided to take it a little bit more seriously and get an office. And now I have a growing team here, small team, 3 people, including me. Yeah.
Yes, if sometimes I see on your IG stories all those coffee shops that you go to and all
Yeah.
that. So I'm actually, I've always been curious about your travels and all that. So first things first, I think the first thing in everybody's mind would be what got you started with the digital nomad lifestyle, like going around, and how many countries have you been to?
So I've been to 16 countries until now, and I got the idea when I used to listen to podcasts back when I worked in San Francisco. So I'm originally from San Francisco, California, and I was working in IT. That's when I started to meet with other people and become really inspired by, startups and entrepreneurship, and listening to some podcasts at the time. There were a few podcasts that I would listen to, like Smart Passive Income from Pat Flynn, or there's another podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire. And they would always talk about people who worked online, who were doing businesses and traveling at the same time. And then Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, is another big inspiration. After reading that, that really put in my mind the idea of, why not be able to travel and enjoy life rather than saving up until you retire to go around the world. You can do it in spurts throughout your life. And that was always like the motivation, but it took a long time to kind of figure out. So yeah, and in 2015, that's when I basically quit my job in IT to then give it actually just to travel. But then when I came out to Southeast Asia, the cost of living here is so much lower. I decided to just move here. Why not? Just for the life experience, and then to try and build something online. So that's like the quick run of it. So I mean, there's a lot to that story. You could ask me questions about the specifics. I'd be happy to share whatever it is that you're curious about. But yeah, And then a lot has happened since I arrived until now too, like with this agency that I have now.
I was curious, why Vietnam? Why not Philippines? Jan's here.
That's a good
He was
question.
in Vietnam when I knew him.
Yeah, so I stopped by the Philippines just for like 2 days. I was in Manila, but I don't know, like it's just by chance. It was totally by chance. I wasn't even really thinking about Vietnam as my, where I would move to. When I first traveled, I was much more interested in visiting Japan, and I arrived in Taiwan first because it was cheaper to go from Taiwan to Japan. And so I stayed for a few weeks in Taiwan and fell in love with Taiwan. And then I went to Japan, stayed there for a month, and then I went around Southeast Asia. And yeah, it just never, it wasn't a part of my itinerary. I still have yet to really visit it. Yeah, I still need to go. I hear it's really beautiful. I have some friends who I've met from Da Nang, Vietnam, because a lot of people, expats like myself, who are digital nomads who travel, they travel here, and a lot of them have told me good things about the Philippines, and a lot of them used to stay there, especially in Cebu. Like apparently Cebu is kind of like where it's at for a lot of digital nomads, but yeah, not yet.
No, come
Maybe
to
soon.
Mindanao.
And go to
Mindanao is more
Zamboanga.
beautiful. Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
Zamboanga.
I don't know.
Yes,
Right.
but there was just no
Yeah,
spark
I'd
for
love to
you in the
visit.
Philippines.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, I didn't have a chance to. Like, so when I first arrived in Vietnam, I did stay for like 2 weeks. So I arrived in like one of the northern parts of Vietnam, and then I stayed there for like a week, and then I just traveled down. And yeah, I just never made my trip. I went to like Indonesia, to Bali. I considered Bali, but there was something that I liked about this particular city, being that it was near the beach. It was relatively modern. I'm speaking of Da Nang, Vietnam. So they have like a city, they have like, it's a beach town. And so, yeah, I just landed here, and I like Vietnamese food too. And that was, and the
Yeah, they're
coffee,
delicious.
coffee thing, the coffee culture over here is so good. So you mentioned when you have 2 cups of coffee, it's like a really busy day. That's like my everyday. Like I 2 cups, like just in the morning. This is like my second one right here. So that's a daily experience for me. So I don't know, it's good, but I'd love to visit, and I hope you guys can maybe give me some pointers on where I should go. That's because yeah, that's true. I've never been. I haven't been. I haven't given it a chance.
Don't worry, Dennis here is a what do you call it? Travel to he is in travel and tours, so he can plan your tours if you're going back here in the Philippines. And you should also visit Jehan's place. It's very beautiful in Zamboanga.
Yes, definitely we can help you with that, Edwin. And we are looking forward that please do visit the Philippines because this is a beautiful country that you should
So we're really
explore
selling
with.
the Philippines here, huh? We're
Kind
really
of.
selling the Philippines, huh? We're very competitive like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just another thing, I'm really curious. Maybe since you're single, right? I just assumed you're single, but with the finances, because that's the one thing. It's always been my dream to travel while working, but I'm more concerned about the financial aspect of it. So what preparations did you have to make in order for you to like be able to live off of a certain amount while traveling?
hmm Yeah, so that was it was a big risk, honestly. I saved up some money, but not a lot when I was traveling the first time. So my first trip throughout Asia, I had just saved a lump sum of money from my previous job, which did pay relatively well. And when I came over here, though, I was already planning to do business. So another reason that I decided to stay in this particular city was because there was some opportunities I saw with doing Airbnb properties. So I don't know if you know the website, but basically it's a website where you can put your room for rent, or if you have an extra house, you can put it for rent for tourists. And I saw potential in Da Nang City. So actually, the first business that I started over here wasn't necessarily like an online business. I just happened to find this opportunity where I rented houses for relatively cheap. and then I would put them on Airbnb, and that was my first business here. So the whole digital nomad lifestyle, like I do get that question a lot, like about, when is it a good time? Like at what point should I do that? There is no one good answer, and for me, it was a big risk, and it was a struggle to eventually get something going that was stable enough to support me. But that first initial business that I started did help cushion the blow. But that's something that not everybody can do if they want to, travel. I think, for most people, it's best to, the people who I think thrive doing doing the whole digital nomad lifestyle are the ones that have a stable job with a company working online. So they're either a designer or they're a programmer, and they have one client that they're working with. The freelancing thing is a bit more risky and it's a bit more challenging. And I think if you do freelancing, you need to have a bigger runway, a bigger savings, because you're going to be constantly trying to find work. And that was a big struggle for me as well, and only in the few last year really has things become much more stable with clients, to where now I'm growing a small team, and then I'm focusing more on sales now. But that took a long time. I've been out here it'll be 6 years in July. So
Wow.
I didn't have anything stable before.
You speak Vietnamese already?
A little bit. Not as much as I should, because it's really, I just don't study enough. Honestly, I'm just lazy. I don't practice as much as I should. But I do. I can understand it a lot more than I can speak it. So yeah, I've been out here for a while. But yeah, so in my case, it was a big risk taking that. It's something I don't really recommend people to do if they don't have the runway. If you have and you have to pre-calculate how much that is for you. It depends on how much each individual spends. I'm a fairly low maintenance guy. I don't really need to have really expensive things. I have a very inexpensive motorbike that I drive around. I stay in a studio apartment, because I'm always going out. And actually, one of the reasons why I don't like the digital nomad lifestyle, so some of the negatives with that is routine. For me, when I have a routine down, like I know where to buy my groceries, I know where, I have a gym membership, and I have a habit of waking up in the morning and doing my daily routine, having a good daily routine. That only comes when you are in one place for a certain amount of time. So if I think anybody does the digital nomad lifestyle thing, I think it's best to stay for a few months at least, so you can have some kind of routine and habits, because that all takes up brain power, which takes away from everything else that you got to do in your day. So it's better to just have things fixed, at least in my opinion.
You have questions, guys? Because I have a lot. I'm just trying to bite my tongue here.
Go ahead.
How do you plan your travel, Edwin? I'm just curious. You said earlier you were from, what's that? You wanted
San
to go to
Francisco.
Japan. Yeah, but you wanted to go to Japan, but you stopped by Taiwan. So how do you, plan your travel?
Well, at the time, I just planned it. I just planned it in advance based on where I wanted to go and based on the budget that I had. So when I first, and that was like more than 5 years ago. So my way I plan travel now is much different than I did then. Back then, it was more about just kind of covering as much ground as possible, because I wasn't sure I was going to stay out here. But yeah, I just planned. What did I do? I was really interested in Japanese culture, and I even studied Japanese before going out to Japan. And I used Airbnb to book most of my trip, and I had a spreadsheet that I used to book some of the main kind of locations that I wanted to go and where I wanted to stay. So I used this spreadsheet to kind of use as a checklist and just to make sure. And I remember, but the way I did it was very free flowy. All I planned to do was go to Japan. and the way to get there and the way to come back was kind of up in the air. I'm really bad at planning. I'm really unorganized, and I don't make, so these plans. So although I mentioned spreadsheets, don't be very impressed. It's just like I probably could have used a Google Doc or something. Like it would have been just as effective. And like what I did was, just like book when I landed, and then after Japan, I decided, okay, if I stay in Japan, it's gonna blow through my budget in like, a month. And I was planning to stay for like at least up to 6 months. That was my plan, like to travel for like, because I was all about that whole, 4-hour work week, Tim Ferriss, mini retirement thing. And that was my first kind of mini retirement, and which I, really wasn't. It was just a vacation, a very long vacation where I was trying to make money while I was going. And yeah, like I just planned my trip as I went. So like 2 weeks before I was gonna fly out, I would look for Airbnb. I would look for some places to go, and I would just book the ticket. And I was booking one-way tickets all the way until I finally like came back around. I think the last place that I ended up at was Thailand, after Vietnam, and then I went back to the States, where I then sold off everything that I had as much as possible, and then that's when I moved back, because I also secured like one of the houses that I put up for rent in Da Nang before I left. So yeah, not the most impressive, not most informative.
So yeah, you actually uprooted everything in the US just to move to Da Nang.
Yeah.
Or just to move
basically.
to South Asia, right?
Right, basically. Yeah,
It's
I
just
was like, yeah, no, this city is I'm just gonna have a different life, you guys. Like, see ya. Yeah.
Yeah, but what
I'm
was
still here.
what was like the biggest thing that you had, or the biggest culture shock that you had to adjust to when you finally decided that you're staying here in this place for as long as you want to? What was the biggest culture shock that you experienced?
The traffic. I think the traffic over here in Vietnam is like, it's crazy. Everybody, like 90% of the people are riding around on scooters. We call them motorbikes. And, it's just, it can be crazy. It's madness. In Vietnam was the first place that I really had like a culture shock though, because like in other cities like Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur, there's modern. There's a public transit system. Everybody's driving in cars. But over here, it's like crazy. People driving on the wrong side of the road, just like normal, and people are selling like meats and fruits like right on the sidewalk there, and you just kind of drive up with your motorbike, you pick it up, and you take it away. So it's a huge culture shock. The traffic, I would say, but yeah, there's a lot. I don't even know what else to like really pinpoint. It's just the way you go the way you go shopping here at the local markets, the wet markets that they have here. It's crazy. There's so much like fresh fish just kind of flopping around. It's like an aquarium. You just go around and it's like, oh, cool. Look at, you can eat that. It's crazy.
Everything's so fresh, right? Unlike in the
Yes.
US where everything's packaged and everything comes in, ice and all that.
Right, and I guess they have to ship food everywhere, so I kind of get it. It's tough to do for such a large population, but the food is fresher, I think, here, and that's one of the benefits I think of being out here. I get to eat healthier. Some people will argue that it's not so healthy because pesticides. There's nobody really knows how much pesticides they use on like some of the vegetables, but in general, like for the meats and stuff, it's like, it's really fresh.
You can also experience that here in the Philippines, Edwin. So by the way, Edwin, yes,
the
of
traffic
course.
and the food.
We have the traffic. We have
and the motorbikes.
Yes, exactly. So Edwin, I do have a question since you have said that you're not really good when it comes to planning. Okay, so with that, I think, what do you wish you had known before you started this digital nomad?
He wish he had you.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Like I needed a guide. I needed somebody out here already to show me around. That's a good question. What do I wish? What do I wish to have? I mean, that's a tough one because yeah, of course, having somebody. There's not a lot. When I came over here, there weren't many expats over here. I suppose trying to make friends is good, but it's tough until you're here on the ground. Like it's weird to try and meet people who you're not, you don't really know yet. So let's see. I don't really even know, like, because there's no kind of advice I could give besides just yeah. I mean, just I guess thinking ahead. I guess I wish I would have been better with my with budgeting, maybe like budgeting in advance. But even then, it's kind of tough. A lot of it was a risk to kind of move into, and there's no way I would have been able. Nobody would have been able to tell me, and like exactly like what to prepare for. Every digital nomad that I meet over here has a totally different kind of a story. Everybody found their way differently. So, so yeah, I mean, maybe I would, better plan my trips back to visit family, maybe, because that became kind of a, like it wasn't until 2 years after I came here that I went back to visit family. And now it's been almost 3 years since I've been back. So, and COVID kind of came around. So I didn't, I haven't had a chance to go back to visit family, and that's kind of important. So I guess planning that in my schedule with a little bit more priority, maybe I would say is something I wish I would have done, because then I could have maybe visited family before COVID. But you never know. Like that was this is bad luck. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to follow up this question. Since you have said about digital nomads has or have different stories to tell, but I would like to focus on you, Edwin. So what do you think led you to this particular project, or do you have unique skills that led you to this particular digital nomad? What is that unique skills that you have?
Yeah, well, it was definitely like a chain of events that happened, because it started with growing Instagram and having one particular account that was a very large Instagram account that started to make money, where people would pay me to promote their products and advertise their accounts. And that kind of got my start, where I was being known as the Instagram guy. And once I was known as the Instagram guy, then that slowly led to other people kind of wanting to work with me and wanting me to help them with their marketing. And then as I experimented with my own websites and my own Instagram accounts, that taught me the skills of how to create like a marketing funnel and how to best leverage social media to get leads. And yeah, and then eventually I was hired as consultant to help companies. And then that just kind of naturally led to, because once you're hired on as a marketing consultant, like you can help businesses with websites. WordPress is fairly, like, I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, but I know WordPress. I know how to like do the basics, and it's very intuitive. And if you can just read through documentation or even watch a few YouTube tutorials, I learned how to, set up landing pages, connect them to different email marketing services, and then basically like creating funnels for businesses. And then eventually I got enough work to hand off to others. And now what I'm trying to focus on is basically just training staff to do this work. And I'm going to develop relationships with these other people, because that's what I found through this process. I found that my skill is on the relationship side, where I would, I'm really good at networking. I've been hosting events here in Da Nang City since I arrived for digital nomads, and it's kind of natural to me to network, to talk to people, and so now that's where I'm at in my stage of development, where I'm now trying to focus on that skill rather than doing the work of like being all in front of my computer, which I am a lot now, but this is what I'm working on. I'm trying to hand that off. So I train staff who want to learn and they're curious about learning more, and then I'll give them my advice, and now I'm going to focus on network building, because that was, for me, the biggest game changer was networking, because my biggest client right now was recommended by a friend who I happened to work with back in San Francisco, and they've just been following me on Facebook, and they knew I did like marketing, and they knew I was like an Instagram person, and yeah, so like networking was huge for me. So yeah, it was a gradual process.
Yeah,
I think
and
I'll give you. Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I
Go
think
ahead.
I'll give you another breakthrough, Edwin, because you said earlier that you were training your staff so that you can do more of the things that you're good at, which is to network. Well, what we do here at FOPSCO actually is a Filipino Online Professionals Service Cooperative. Is also we develop courses, digital skills courses, and we train students. And if you're planning on scaling your business, then the training can be outsourced to us while you concentrate on the things that you do best. I think that's something that you can think about in the future.
Yeah,
There
that
goes
I'm
sounds like
pitching here.
Rochelle.
Guilty.
There goes
Something that we can
Rochelle with all her
collaborate.
pitches.
Hey, yeah, that's the opportunity. That sounds like I didn't even know that was a possible thing to do, and that sounds amazing because, yeah, I ain't got time. I don't have time. I need more time. I need more help. Definitely.
We'll give you time. We'll give you all the help that you can do, even
You
if
need more help, and I left you.
yeah. Even in events, trainings, digital marketing. Jan is also very good at digital marketing. In fact, she teaches that here in the Philippines.
Actually, everything I know about Instagram marketing, I learned from Edwin. I did do a little bit
Wow.
of Instagram marketing before he became my client, but everything I know about Instagram marketing, I'm just really following it up with courses right now. But all the foundations I learned from Edwin, and all the spreadsheets. All the
Yeah.
spreadsheets I learned from Edwin.
You have learned from our Instagram boy.
Yeah, he's really the Instagram guru. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Miss Jan.
No,
Yeah, sorry,
actually,
I cut you off.
no, that's okay. That was what actually I was trying to say earlier. But just one little thing though. With regards to personality traits, do you notice a like similarity in the personalities of the digital nomads that are in your group? Is there like a certain personality trait that you think would really thrive in this kind of lifestyle?
Mm, personality trait. Well, the personalities vary, but there's a common theme where there's the people that I meet are usually looking for something different. Maybe they used to work at a 9 to 5 job that wasn't really fulfilling, and they wanted to experience more in life. And travel, I think, kind of fills that curiosity of what the world is like, because we all have this curiosity about the world. So I mean, people are just curious. The people who I meet, yeah, they're very open to new ideas. They're not really closed-minded, because if they were closed-minded, they wouldn't even be here in Vietnam, where I tend to meet them. And yeah, these are people from all over the world who pass through this particular city, which is surprising to me, because I come from San Francisco, where I thought it was like pretty international, but it's over here. I meet Russians, Germans, Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, Filipino. I meet like people from everywhere. So I guess like a personality trait, yeah, it's just they're just curious, and they're very like open in terms of considering what is normal, what is the norm. That's one of our most common like topics, is like, of talking about like the life, because we often describe the people we know from back home, at least like for me in the US, or for someone from UK or some other country. Our friends and family are all kind of just like stuck in a rut, or they're just doing they're just working 9 to 5. dreaming one day to do something, but never really taking the time to actually plan it, you know. Although I will say, I think people in Europe and Asia, I think are much more inclined to travel, and it's much more of a common thing versus England and the US and English people. You know, I think we don't travel very much in general. So, but I guess I'm a little bit different from most Americans in that I'm like an immigrant family. My mother is from a small country in Central America, El Salvador. My mother and father. So maybe that's why maybe I'm a little bit more comfortable being in a foreign land, because I grew up speaking like Spanish and English, so whereas for others it might be a little bit more difficult for them to grasp. But yeah, curious, open-minded.
In terms of safety, Edwin, I'm just curious. You seem like a pretty big guy, and I don't think anybody would pick a fight with you. But weren't you scared at some point that you're going to a certain country that you don't know about? I mean, no friends, nothing, no one to back you up in case something happens or you get sick.
Yeah, that's always something that is in the back of my mind, but I think I have a belief that life kind of happens for you. I have a belief in I'm a bit more on the spiritual side, so I think all kind of adversity is going to be used for good. So my mindset is a little different in that I have a little bit more faith in what happens, and I have some confidence. And yeah, like being a guy, I guess I'm not too scared, like physically, that I'm going to be, physically harmed in any way. But yeah, emotionally, it is lonely, and it was lonely, and it can be lonely at times. So that's something that I have to fill that need. And actually, one of the benefits that a lot of digital nomads say about my meetup group is that it's good to have, because we all feel that loneliness. And when we come together, because we need family. I think everybody needs to have that kind of a family. And if you don't have your actual family, or if your family doesn't really, connect with you on that level, you have to fill that need. And friends is very important. Meeting other people who are like-minded, who have some commonalities and things you look up to, I think is very important. That's helped me out a lot. So I have friends who are also doing businesses, who aspire for bigger things. I have friends who have families now who, I look up to, because they are living a life that I hope to have one day.
You found your tribe. Yeah, that's so nice.
Wait until he gets to the Philippines for a little bit more time, and he will not leave Philippines for sure.
Competitive! But you know what?
right.
I used to think you had Filipino blood because your name is a common Filipino name, Edwin.
It's
But
Spanish.
Really?
it's Spanish.
Surname, yeah.
Yeah. And I have no idea. My mom doesn't even know where she got that name from. She's like, oh, I think I found it in a book. I'm like, really? Okay. Whereas over here in Vietnam, everybody has like a name that means something. But my name, I don't even know where it's from. Edwin. It's actually kind of common I guess it is Spanish, because it's pretty common in Central America. Whenever I go to Central America, that's the only place where I meet Edwin. Like in the US, it's very rare.
Edwin means it's a rich friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
You're a rich friend of ours now.
No, that's not true. That's a lie.
Okay,
Right. So,
okay, go ahead.
okay, Edwin, you have established your company in September 2014. Is that right? So it's 6 years and 7 months.
Sorry, can you
this
repeat
particular.
that?
Okay, so you have established your Merino Martin since September 2014, and then you're going to 7 years this year. Isn't it correct?
Well,
Merino
yeah.
Marketing.
So that's basically what I've called my freelancing company, and that's what I was trying to grow. but I actually recently rebranded it to Lunar Digital as of last year. Up until last year, it was much more of just like a thing. It was just me being a freelancer and for like tax reasons having it underneath that. But I would not say that I've been in marketing for that long, because before last year, before maybe 2 years ago, it was all just my own projects and then occasional consulting. The consulting gigs would only come, just a few times. It was no like secure. I was working on drop shipping. I was doing mostly Instagram growth, and I pretty much used that company name as kind of like for all of those things. So I've tried many things, and for a time I was doing Instagram growth services, using software bots to help people grow, like basically follow, unfollow, and so it wasn't even. So I wouldn't even say like, yeah, I've been doing online business I've been trying my best to do like online business for like 60 years, 7 years. I even started a podcast before I started to travel back in the U.S. I started a podcast for a year. I think from 2014 to 2015, I tried to be a podcaster, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't have money from it. So after a year, I basically decided to call it quits. That was around the time I decided to travel and just kind of like rethink life. Actually, that was one of the reasons why I realized like my podcast, I wasn't really that interesting of a person, in my opinion, and I needed to do something different. So actually, like one of the reasons I wanted to like live abroad was like, that's gonna make me different. That's gonna make me much more interesting if I just leave and move to Southeast, I never went back to do podcasting, but it's in my mind actually. I still have that in my mind of doing, because I like talking to people, like discussing ideas and stuff. So that's actually something I might be doing. But anyways, that's a side note.
All right.
The podcast,
Thank you for that.
Edwin. Sorry, I also have mine. I hope I can invite you there too. It's called the Passion and Purpose podcast. And in there we talk about entrepreneurship and the adventures of life and your purpose, of course. I hope one day to invite you there. And I have to talk to you more, running out of time. So I guess it's FOPSTalk time, Jack.
Yeah, you go ahead with the FOPSTalk. You
Dance. Let's start FOPSTalk. Edwin, are you asking quick questions, and you don't have to start your answer, just split second answer.
I'll try my best.
Yep. All right. Question.
Wait, can you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Morning or night person?
Morning.
Number one online tool you cannot live.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Number one online tool you can live without.
Ooh. Oh, I could not live without Slack.
All right, your turn, Des.
All right. So can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little choppy now, but I can hear you.
All right. So here's our question. So what is your regular home attire or home office attire?
Oh. Regular clothes, casual clothes, I'd say.
Okay.
I always wear pants and a t-shirt.
All right. So we got it.
Not in my
So
underwear like usually. That's it. I'm not.
Okay, thank you. Where do you go when you're bored or tired?
Coffee shop.
I would agree with that. Okay, so here's the other one. What would your pet say about you if we ask for reference?
What would my pet
says about you if we are going to get a reference from your pet?
The only pets I have is fish. I don't know what they would say about it. I don't know. I have no idea.
Go ahead, Miss Jahan.
Okay, one more, few more questions. Describe your life using film titles.
Describe life using film titles.
Your life using film titles.
Film titles. My life. Like pop. I don't know. Oh man. What's a good film? I don't know. Memento. No, I don't know. I don't know. Fast. I need more time for that one.
Okay. All right. Well, this one probably. Who or sorry, in your if your life is a book, what's the title?
If I'm what?
If your life is a book, what's the title?
Ah. All right. Give me some time to think about this one. If my life is a book, title. It'd just be called like just be called something like I'm just thinking of one word titles like like experience like experiencing or exploring uh yeah, exploring life. It's so like I'd think about that more, but it would be something along the lines of like yeah, journey outside, yeah, journey outside the norm or something like that.
Wow, that's a good title. That's a good one. And
Deep
one
one.
last thing, who or what keeps you motivated?
Who or what is what?
Who or what keeps you motivated?
Keeps me who or what keeps me motivated? What keeps me motivated is the idea of helping my parents and helping to support them. They obviously struggled to immigrate into the U.S., which is what has allowed me to live abroad. If it wasn't for my youth court, it would be much more difficult for me to do what I do. So that idea in my mind is what keeps me motivated to keep trying and to be successful for them, my parents.
Okay, all right. Well, that's actually the last one. We gave you a hard time, huh?
Some of them were tough. Yeah, I need more time. Give me enough time.
Yeah. But we really appreciate your time here with us, Edwin. Thank you so much. I've always been curious with the digital nomad lifestyle, and I really appreciate everything I've learned from you during our time working together. And one thing that I got from this conversation today is that it's really possible for you to live your dreams, whatever your dreams are, but you just really have to keep working on it, right, guys?
Yeah,
I
that's
would agree
right.
with that.
Mhm. You have
I
any parting
guess
message, Edwin? Sorry, Dance.
yes. Go ahead, Edwin. I think uh, what's your advice that you can give to our viewers or to our FB Live viewers who wants to be like you or as a digital
Yeah.
nomad? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important to find balance and to understand that it's a process exploring. So you have to learn to enjoy that process of exploration because even now I still haven't reached where I would like to be. But I'm enjoying my day to day, and I think it's important to you have to have a positive mindset. You have to enjoy your life and if you compare yourself to others, if you're looking on Instagram, especially at other people's lifestyles, that brings you down. I think you really should avoid comparing yourself to other people. You should learn how to take care of yourself, to be confident, to know that wherever you are in your journey is where you belong, and you should strive towards your dream, but making sure you healthy and happy along the process because it's a journey. You'll always be searching for more, even once you become a digital nomad, and once you have that lifestyle, you still have that desire in you to want more. So it's important to enjoy the process and the journey, and just and have some faith and have confidence that you'll get to where you want to go if you keep trying.
Amazing, amazing. How about you, Dan? Any parting message before we, say bye to the fans? Wow, fans!
Fans. Okay, so thank you for sharing, Edwin, your story. And of course, what I have learned from your story is that as a digital nomad, we should explore more and enjoy what we are experiencing in our day to day. And of course, the sense of adventure that we actually encounter from our daily lives as a digital nomad. And with that, as you go with your process, as you go with your journey, you will find your tribe. So that's the thing that we should look forward as a digital nomad or as a freelancer as well. Thank you for sharing your story. Go ahead, Miss Jen.
Yes, how about
Yes. I already said my piece. Once again, thank you so much, Edwin. But time is so short, and right now we have to say goodbye to our viewers. But if you guys have any questions, any comments, or if you were inspired by Edwin's story today, please don't forget to let us know in the comments section. And thank you so much for watching us, guys, and hope to see you again next Wednesday. Same page. Please like our FOPSCO page, facebook.com/popsco.ph, a national-based cooperative for Filipino online professionals. And you may also find us on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And if you had some takeaways in tonight's show, please share this episode so others who are dreaming of the digital nomad lifestyle can also learn like you. All right.
yes?
Thank you
How
so
about
much, Popsco Media. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, how about his Instagram and website and everything?
Oh yeah, sorry,
Invite
I
him,
forgot
Edwin.
about it. Edwin, do you want to promote Lunar Digital? I know it's just
Of
starting, but
course,
yeah, promote
please
all
go
your
ahead.
business.
Yeah, Lunar Digital is still in the works. You can follow my Instagram page if you want to see what I'm up to, and then eventually, once it's ready, you'll see it on my Instagram page. So if you follow Hello Eddie, that's Hello Eddy, you might see me post on there. The website for Lunar Digital is lunardigital.co, and yeah, that's basically where you can find.
All right, thank you so much,
Right.
everyone. And I had a good time, talking to you and listening to your adventures, Edwin. Everyone, thank you so much for watching FOPSTalk, and hope to see you again next Thursday for another exciting episode. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching.
Bye. Thank you for
Thank you, Edwin.
watching.